Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I have some grid layouts to share with you today, and there's a very specific reason why I have these particular pages going on. The first reason is that as a design team member over at the Counterfeit Kit Challenge, I needed to come up with what we call a mini project for this month. And also, I have these layouts that I had Project Life pages for on my phone app, and I had a phone issue and I lost those pages. So I wanted to create third pages to go with these double page spreads that had all the extra little detail photos from a camping trip that we took. Now I have two sets of these layouts because they're each going in a different kid's album. So they were created at different times and they have different styles, but they have generally the same design behind them. And as I was looking at these, I thought, can I come up with a cohesive kit that goes with both of these? And what I realized was they have similar color palettes with deep blues, yellows, and greens. So I pulled out a subset of supplies from my current counterfeit kit for this month, and I'll link you up to the kit build if you haven't seen that. And I separated the supplies into the two different layouts, a lighter set of supplies to go with the lighter mood of one of the pages and a darker set of supplies. So I also have some wood grain 12 by 12 sheets to go with this because I only can print my pattern papers from the Tracy Reed collection on 8.5 by 11 printers. So I've got those all ready to go. I've got all of my tiny photos printed and I'd started trimming them down. And I started doing some math for this grid layout, and you can see me kind of making some notes here as I go, and I'll be making some mistakes as I go too, because my math did not go as expected. However, one thing that does work for me is when I'm cutting a lot of repeat patterns, and these are all going to be little cards for backing my photos. I do put a little jig on there with some tape, and that way I can just line it up to the tape cut and move on. And then here's where another mistake came in. I started arranging my photos into this grid, and I thought, oh, hey, I'll create another jig by cutting these strips of paper that will be all of the gaps in between the grid zones. But of course, I didn't get my math right again, and you can see that little piece of paper hanging off the edge. So I changed tactics here. I took the cutting blade out of my trimmer, and just with the scoring blade in place, I am very lightly scoring this background pattern paper with 2-inch by 3-inch grids. If I can get it tipped into the light just right, hang in there with me. There we go. You can start seeing right there where that scoring line is, and then the other direction as well. So that math was pretty easy. 2 inches one direction and 3 inches the other direction I could handle. And now I make sure my little pattern papers will fit into those grids with a tiny bit of border around them. And it all is working out at this point. And then I'm ready to lay out this design. I'm grouping photos together that had similar parts of our trip on them. And at first I thought I was going to use the pattern paper to fill in the empty spaces of this grid, but I thought that was becoming overwhelming. So I changed gears again and I used that pattern paper to back my photos instead and create zones for those photos, as you can see with the horizontal photos down there. And then I just fill in the rest of the grid with small embellishments, and that is a design that works very well for me. As I'm filling in these embellishments, I try to group at least a couple of things together, and I pop one of those things up on foam dots for layers and dimension and texture. And that really puts this layout together very simply. And because I am actually doing 2 of these layouts to go in those 2 separate albums that I mentioned, I'm going to repeat the same thing with the second set of supplies and the second set of photos and pretty much replicate the same exact thing. And as you can see here, this is how my third page fits together with my previous 2 pages from this particular set of event photos. Now I add a couple of bits from what I've got left over back in to those original 2 photos just to help carry it through just a little bit more. And really it's just a couple of those same colored kind of die cut pieces. And then here is my other layout complete, and you can see it alongside with its two companion pages. And I'm looking over these layouts here, trying to decide what I need to add to help carry everything through. And then I realized I didn't add the sequins to my brand new page. But other than that, I try out a few things. And I think, these are coordinating well enough for me that I don't feel like I need to add anything else. So let's take a final look at these grid designs. And these really, besides my math mistakes, these really came together super fast. So if you're looking for quick layouts, go ahead and try a grid. So that really was a quick one for today. And if you got something useful out of this video, I would very much appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for spending your time here and watching. And I will be back soon with more layout process videos for you. Until then, have an artful day.